Happy Sunday. Welcome back to the Real Raw Real. It's your host, Stephanie, with Brandi and Miss U-Landa. And today we will be interviewing Miss Sheila. Hey, Miss Sheila.
Hi, how are you, Stephanie? Hey, Brandi. Hey, Yolanda.
Hey,
Hey.
how you doing, Miss Sheila?
I am glad to spend my Sunday doing just absolutely nothing but talking to y'all.
I hear that. Well, we're
I'm
happy to
having a
have
little
you.
bit of libations. But I'll try to keep it out of the camera, but I can't promise anything. But
Hey, this is your party.
To that, bring the party.
That's why it's a real raw real. That's right.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah.
I know you had your workshop this weekend. How did that go?
It went, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was the last workshop in Texas because we have so many shows here. So this is the first time, though, that we brought Tyler and Etzla and Gary Udit down and JM. So we talked about NPC because now they're kind of coming into the 21st century. And now they have, like perks for being an NPC member. So they talked about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And the main news is bringing the Nationals to Dallas. That's like a big deal because, it was here 12 years ago, but I know since y'all are 5 years old, you weren't even born then. But yeah, we had something called the Nationals. And it was here, but it wasn't as big because the NPC membership wasn't as big. So, we got on Jim's nerves and begged and pleaded and why can't we get it? So we got it. So we have it here in Dallas, Texas for the next 3 years. So we're really excited about that. So
love that.
yeah, we did some posing critiques, and then they talked about NBC News Online, how it's so important to follow, and NPC and IBB etiquette. So it was very informational.
Nice. I'm glad I missed that, to be honest.
And with your way of promoting, you almost had me sucked in. Like, dang, let me book my ticket. Let me go.
Right. Right.
I was like, Yolanda, sit
Girl.
down. You got to try to get to your shows this year. Stay focused.
It's all about that promotion. Because a lot of promoters don't promote. And I wasn't always a promoter, but Freddie, my co-promoter, he is. He's like, oh, y'all know that too. He's a millennial. Because y'all are just like all over the place. He's all over the place, but he pushes me to promote. So now it's all about promoting and getting out there and reaching as many athletes as we can. Come on, I don't care where you live. Come on down to Dallas, Texas. Do the biggest show ever. So,
I'm telling you, I'm happy he pushed you.
Yes.
Like I said, and I use the term "suck me in" because you definitely sucked me in for my show.
Yeah,
no, it was great.
Sad I didn't do it.
Yeah, it was. I know, but you were there. You were there for support, right?
Yes. And I guess all of that experience was great both ways, whether you were in the audience or whether you were on stage.
It was a really well-run show. Yeah, that was a really well-run show. Even with the amount of people that you all had in that show, and even though it ran late, like it was still like smooth. Like,
so you guys want to tell the audience what show you're talking about?
Oh, we're talking about the Battle of Texas. That was the show that Yolanda competed in. Yeah, she competed. That was December 10th.
And Stephanie didn't go to that one. She didn't go. No. She was busy that day.
But I'll be in Texas soon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the Battle of Texas.
Wait. I heard a little hint. Say that again, Steph.
Say it again. Oh, you can't say it again?
I said I'll be in Texas soon.
Very good. What show are you doing when you come to Texas? Are you moving to Texas or competing in Texas?
Competing.
Oh, what show are you doing, Miss Stephanie?
Well, haven't fully decided yet, but probably Nationals.
Okay. Awesome.
That's what we put.
It's going to be a great show. Yes. That's going to be a great show. And let me tell you, everybody in Pittsburgh, they are so excited because, we wanted to have it, but we had to bring them down so they can envision it. So we set up the Battle of Texas how we thought they should do the Nationals. So it opened up their ideas like, okay, I said, y'all can have the vendors here. Oh, okay. And then we, so we made it like it wasn't the way we normally set up, but it was a good setup for the Nationals because we wanted Robin Chang to see that Texas can handle it. So
Nice.
it's going to be great, Stephanie. It's going to be an all-star cast judging panel, and top 2 in each category. They did confirm that. So they're giving away 90 pro cards.
Nice.
All together. So that's going to be good. Stephanie, is this your first national?
This would be my third.
Okay.
So I did one last year, and I did one in 2020.
Okay. Okay. Shoot, don't let this discourage you, because I was competing. I was in last call out till I wasn't. I did so many national shows. They were like, "Hey, Sheila, you know the drill. You're middleweight." Okay.
Yeah.
So I was always, but when you get that, I like it when you don't get your pro card right away, or when you don't get first right away, because when you do get it, it's like, it's so sweet because you appreciate it
so
more.
much sweeter. Yes.
Yeah, the ones that get
absolutely.
in, they get out, and they win right away, and then they go pro right away, and they win their Olympic right away. They don't know what it means to not win. So,
That's a
it's
different
like
kind
the
of
taste
loss
of it.
too.
Yes, it is. It is.
Keisha, I'm over here shaking my head, but honestly, I can't even shake my head with y'all. I never did a national show yet.
Yeah, but there's one in Texas at the end of this year.
But I'm saying we don't know how that's going to turn out. So I can't even give all the feels to this because we don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
you might be doing the pro version.
Right. Before we dive in, because you mentioned, the pro card and things like that, we've chopped it up with you for a little bit before we started recording, and we met at the Battle of Texas. So we know who Miss Sheila is, but for those who don't know who Miss Sheila is, can you give us an introduction? Tell us who you are.
My name is Sheilahe Brown, and I am a women's physique pro. I got my pro card in 2011 at the USA. I won the whole show at the age of 48. So I'm very proud of that. Yes, overall. Yes. So that dispelled any myths of, because you hear the myths of, if you go to the West Coast, they like this certain type, you go to the East Coast. So by law, I wasn't supposed to win, supposedly, the West Coast, because apparently it's supposed to be a blonde hair, blue eye kind of win. And I came in there and cleaned house. So so I retired though in 2013. And so now I just do the promoting and the judging and do the posing, and seeing life on the other side is incredible.
So, very nice.
How long have you been competing before you won your pro card?
1984.
Really?
84.
I did look you up on NBC News, but it only went back to 2011. That's when it stopped.
Oh yeah, no, 1984, because I started as bodybuilding because there was nothing else. Yeah, so I competed with Linda Murray. So I was in that era, and Carla Dunlap.
What?
Yes.
Wow,
and
that is incredible.
Yes, that was amazing. That was a very humbling experience. That Linda Murray came out of nowhere. I'm like, who is this chick? I'm like, oh my gosh, is there a way I can back out right now? Please, Lord. Please, baby Jesus. She looks incredible. But yeah, so 1984, Stephanie, is when I started. So it took me a while to get that card, but it was worth it.
So actually, let's just start there at the beginning. Like, what is it that brought you into this journey itself? What made you start, bodybuilding?
I used to dance. I danced with at NYU, ballet and things like that. And that wasn't a successful career for me, so I had to stop doing that. But during that time, when you're a ballet dancer, there you have weight issues, weight restrictions, so I became bulimic. And so my psychologist said, you need to find something that takes your mind off of what bulimics do. Find something to do, find a little hobby. Down the line, he said, I didn't mean that. But I was like, okay. So, one addiction to another addiction. But I was walking down the shopping center, this gym owner came outside and say, hey, I like your arms. Do you for bodybuild? And I didn't know what that was. He says, if you do the show this weekend, I'll give you a free membership.
What?
And I'm like, I know. It was a show that weekend. But see, I was already not that much muscle, but I was skinny, so I had muscle just because you couldn't help but see them because I was skin and
Right.
bones. But
And you were
back in the day,
beautiful.
yes. So I did that show. I won that show, and
Wait.
I
So he could have
started,
pulled you up off the street, told you to
Right.
come here.
2
I'm gonna
days
give you
before
a
the
free
show.
girl.
membership. And then
He
boom, I'm
put me
gonna
off the street like a common hooker and picked me out at NPC.
what you
Dude,
know?
it was a Texas long time ago. It was then it was AAU, and AAU and
Really?
NPC had come. Yes, so everybody was with AAU first, and then I did
You?
that show, and then I started doing shows, and I qualified fast though. But
Yeah.
once I hit that national, it's like you're starting over again for me.
Yeah.
You know, because bodybuilding, I wasn't big enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I experienced nationals 4 and 5 times, maybe 6 times. But yeah, so 1984, started competing right away.
Mm-hmm.
Went to qualify for the nationals very quickly, but quickly realized that I needed more size at the national level. It's a different animal.
Right.
Yeah, but what an
Wow.
amazing introduction, like in such a
Right.
religious way. Like, what a cool
Right.
introduction
I
to
know it, right?
your
His name was
journey.
James Thurman, and he came
Oh,
out. Yeah, his name
oh, I'm
was
sorry.
James
I was
Thurman.
like, I was just about to say, what is his name?
I know.
I'm gonna look him up. Like, stroll
And I'm
off to
like,
the side. Like,
but y'all, I didn't have any discipline when it came to eating.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was like binging by this time. And when he rolled out that diet, I'm like, oh, I'm not eating that. And then it makes it worse when you cheat and you win. Because then you can cheat. You think you can cheat at every show.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I quickly learned that apparently you got to stick to the diet to make changes.
Apparently.
But you're thinking, I won the first one. What's the big deal?
Right.
So, yeah.
And was he coaching you also after that show?
Yes, he coached me for maybe about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
About 10 years, yeah. And then I went to another coach because he got out of the game. And this other coach I had for a long time. They take me to get my pro card at the USA.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
yeah, it was a great experience, a great journey.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. So with him basically pulling you off the street saying, hey, you look good, come do this show, and you said that you pretty much started out the gate doing well. What was the depth of field like back then? Like, were there a lot of women competitors? Like, was it super competitive back then too?
It was. There's not that many women's physique competitors in the local level. But back then, it would be like 15, 20, 30 in a class.
Wow.
Where when I was going to the nationals at prejudging, they call the top 15 and the rest don't come back. So that's how it used to be.
Wow.
They would call the ones who made the cut. Everybody else, he'd say, okay, we'll see you next year. Can you imagine people who just landed the day before and just like to, so now it's different. And then you had to win. You couldn't get top 2. You had to win your class to get qualified. And there was open, you had to do novice, and you had to win novice, and then you would go to open. So it wasn't like now you have an option of doing one or the other. So it's a totally different ball game.
Oh, that's
I'm not mad at it either though.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cool because it's like, having the semifinals and then the finals, you have to keep moving up. But then it's really good also the way it is now so that everyone gets that full experience and get the time and you're able to, grow with each one that you do, each category. But I think that was interesting too, like the way they did it before.
Yeah, it was. I've been fortunate to have experienced the best of both worlds,
Mhm.
then and then now, because, you get top 2 at the USA. I experienced that too. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting to just see everything evolve.
Yeah.
It's
So
pretty
you
cool.
literally watched it transition, basically.
Yes, I did. I sure did. It was crazy.
That is incredible. Okay.
Thank you.
So that's awesome that you literally took the whole show, or as Shawn says, the whole damn show.
Right,
um,
right. That was
that's so
that was an awesome
awesome.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do
And
you,
with,
oh, I'm sorry, B.
go for it.
Yeah,
My question might be a little bit further down the timeline, so go for yours.
good. I was gonna say that's a good thing that you said that, so we can hold on. Because really quickly, you touched on a little bit about struggling with like bulimia,
Hmm.
more so through dance. And then transitioning into this world, I'm sure that you had to, eat more and be so food focused in a different way.
Right.
How was that experience for you, and how did you manage to deal with it in your perspective?
That was a struggle because maybe 5 more years I still suffered with it. I didn't know how to grasp eating 5 meals a day. It's just I couldn't wrap my head around it because when you're in ballet, I mean, we eat like little birds, and then I stopped dancing and then I was eating, developed the bulimic. So I was so used to eating and then throwing it up and eating and then throwing it up. And then when I go here, I would still do it. So that's why my body wasn't, it was just genetics that I did well, but my body wasn't developing right because every time I would eat a meal, I would just get rid of it. And even if when I would cheat, and I would cheat all the time, when I
Mhm.
cheated, I would still get rid of it. So I was really, operating on negative.
Mm-hmm.
So another 5 years, I still struggled with that, even while I was competing. It was very tough to try to keep those meals down and just don't do anything. So it took a while, and that's probably why I wasn't able to attain the size that everybody else,
Yeah.
because I was still trying to dispense of it.
Mhm.
Did your coach know? Did y'all have that conversation?
No, I didn't
Wow.
share that. No,
Okay.
I didn't share it with. I share my story, but it's not something that I felt comfortable telling him. You're kind of
Mm-hmm.
ashamed of it a little bit, and
Yeah.
and then if you tell somebody, it means you got to try to get better.
Yeah.
And I was fine not getting better. I was, I was like, because I don't want him to say, okay, now don't forget. I don't want anybody saying that. Don't do
Right.
this. Don't get rid of it. I don't want that. I don't want to hear that. I want to do it the way I've been doing it for all this time, and
Mhm.
so I avoided all that.
So
Yeah.
was there
No.
at some point, like the 5 years down, where something clicked for you in which you just, I don't want to say turn on, because that's such a sensitive thing that, you were dealing with and managing, especially on your own, because
Right.
family wise, did anyone in your family know, like in a way in which they
Mm.
can help you? Or you kind of just really kept it to
I kept
yourself?
it to myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I developed. The lining was damaged around my stomach, so then it was uncomfortable to eat. And you know what? I think it was it as long as I was comfortable, I probably would have kept doing it. But the minute it became uncomfortable or I was in pain, then I was like, okay, I gotta. Because now every time I would eat, and then I would try to do like drink vinegar because I also heard it burns the. I love the
Oh wow.
vinegar, so the vinegar
Yeah.
messed out the lining of my walls too. Because I think I still had an addictive personality just from the dance,
Mm-hmm.
so I was just addicted to just staying skinny. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, that was probably another reason because I was still stuck with the ballet stuff. So
Yeah.
I just, so after a while, when it became uncomfortable, then I just started, but I prayed a lot too. I prayed about it. I'm like, I gotta stop this. And then I got tired of being, not doing well. Because after a while, these girls started getting bigger and I stayed the same. In the 80s, that was okay. But as bodybuilding progressed, I didn't because I kept on sticking with the old habits. And after a while, you go to 2 or 3 nationals. I was always dead last to the point where I was the last one on the stage when they'll say, okay, just bring the rest. So after that happened like 5 or 6 times at the nationals, I'm like, that's a waste of money. I gotta get right.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
then, yeah.
So
So was it
therefore, that
bodybuilding
was a
that
plan.
helped?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Okay.
helped me get back healthy again, as far as embracing eating and seeing what works. And but back in that day, we didn't have like refeed. We never heard of it. Was tuna fish and chicken and broccoli. There was no refeed or cheat days or there's nothing like that. So I learned more these days with these new prep coaches that are doing things like do this hit or fasted cardio. We didn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
It was a tuna fish, rice, industry for me. So
I don't miss fish at all.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do some catfish with some shrimp and hush puppies in a minute.
Okay.
But but tilapia, no. I'm not. It's gotta be good. It's gotta be cooked really good.
You gotta tell me it's not tilapia at this point. That's nice to know though that bodybuilding kind of, even though it may have taken longer than maybe it should have, the fact that it still turned your world around in that way, that's still like pretty freaking incredible. So you went through this phase, you decided, or you came to the realization like this isn't working for me, and so then you tried something different in terms of just your general health and wellness. And is that the point in which you started to grow? Or because you said you started in women's bodybuilding, but you won your pro card in women's physique, right?
Yes.
So when did that transition happen for you?
I realized that I didn't want to get that big in bodybuilding, so I took a step back. And then somebody said, I don't know, I think they were received that said, just sit back, your time is going to come, and next thing you know, there was this other category that came. And I'm like, I can do that. I think that was the first year it came out, 2011, because Dana and Billy won the Junior USA, and then I was the next one in line at the USA. So when I saw that, I was able, when a new category comes around, you don't have to qualify locally. You can go straight there. So when women's physique came around, I went straight to the junior nationals and I got third place. Remember, I was never in the first call out at any kind of national show. So first call out, and I got third, and that's when I experienced going down to the judges, and I said, I want to go to the USA. What do I need to do? And they said, go. Y'all, when a judge tells you to go. Just like if the judge tells you this is not your category, do this category, take that advice and run with it. So in 3 or 4 weeks was the USA, and they said, yeah, you need to go to USA. But they said, don't flex. Because I came from bodybuilding. So for women's physique, I was too big because I was big for bodybuilding, but not big enough. You know what I mean? That was right.
Yeah.
So I went to the USA, and it was just the most awkward feeling because they say don't flex your biceps and don't flare your back, and because you got to play the game, you got to try to look small, and so it was hard to make a bicep and just just like limp, and they were saying, my trainer said, don't pump up backstage, and everybody else is pumping up. So now I'm thinking it's a conspiracy, like why you don't want me to pump up? Like why is everybody else pumping up? You start getting your head like, he got me messed up. I'm gonna keep on doing, but then I get pumped up so quickly, then I got big, so, but just by the grace of God, I went ahead and got that first place, and y'all, I was so excited. I totally forgot about the overall. I was so excited. I put my clothes on. I was out the door, and George Ferris said, what are you doing? I said, I got my pro card. He said, you got the overall to do, ma'am. And I'm like, oh my God, because I didn't care. I got my pro card after 28 years. And so I was not even into it because I'm like, I don't care. I was just, I was just so happy that I was pro. And then I got the overall, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was just like surreal.
Yeah,
when you get that pro card,
So
it's something about when you're the last person standing, and they say, and the winner, you're still there. It's nothing like it. Am I right, Brandi?
That's a fact, especially when you're not thinking about it. My experience was similar, except I was excited. I'm not going to say I wasn't excited, but I was just in complete shock. I was in tears
Yes.
backstage, and Stephanie, I'm looking at Stephanie. There's a girl, Shawana Steplight. She actually just got selected to be a Shawn Couture athlete. She reminded me that she was the one when I came off stage. She was the one that was like, "Girl, you got to go back out there, wipe your tears, get yourself together. You got one more time to go back up there." And I did not remember that until we just had that conversation like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, "That was you." Oh my God. There was so much going on in the moment.
It's a blur.
But
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. But for you, you're saying after 28 years, that is a true test.
That's
of
crazy.
Resilience.
It was like everywhere. Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
That's wild. And so, did you compete after you won your pro card? Because you said you won it in 2011, and then
won in
what happened?
2011. Then I did, and then I took a break to try to add some size on, or get my legs to match my upper body. And in 2013, I did the Optimum Classic, and I was still not there because by this time, these women's physique girls are looking, like crazy good. And then I went and did the New York Pro. New York Pro, I think I got like 8th or 9th. And that was a big deal back then because New York Pro was like just packed with so many athletes, And then I got diagnosed with lupus. So I actually retired in 2013.
Okay. Based off of that diagnosis?
Yes.
Okay.
I tried though, because, it's hard when you're forced to retire as opposed to retiring on your own. So, the doctor said, there's no career. You can do it just for a hobby. I'm like, when you're a pro, it's not a hobby anymore. You got to come in looking better than you looked before. Mm-hmm. So I tried to sneak and do it, and my body just wasn't working out right with my medicines, and and the other medicines. They didn't play well together.
Right. So for everybody though that are listening, can you explain a bit about lupus, what lupus is?
Yeah, because I don't even really know.
It's an autoimmune disorder, and there's several types of lupus. I have lupus nephritis, which means it affects my kidneys. So my kidneys fail very easily. Some people have, lupus like of the skin. It can be on the sun. It affects your heart. So it's you get sick easily. We were like the high risk when COVID came. So if somebody has a cold, their cold turns into my pneumonia.
Wow.
Yeah, like if I drink, like I'll have a glass of red wine like every night, but if I start drinking hard liquor like a couple of days a week, by a month, my liver turns into cirrhosis as opposed to somebody else just, so it hits us harder. We don't have the antibodies to fight. If I started smoking, I would get emphysema quicker than somebody else. So we get pneumonia easily and, causing heart disease. So I have heart issues, but I've got a good handle on it. I haven't been in the hospital in years, so I'm thankful for that.
That's amazing.
But stress causes it though. So it can be dormant until something that's traumatic brings it to a head. So I think I probably had lupus for a while, but I thought my joints are hurting because the workouts I was doing. I thought it was arthritis. I didn't think it was lupus, and then I lost a very close friend of mine. She was a competitor, and the stress brought out the lupus then. So they said, like, if you have a baby, people discover it after they've gone through labor, divorce, a death in the family. So, but I was always tired, but I was still competing. So I just thought that from me just competing. Yeah. So it was hard to kind of pinpoint it, at that time. Okay. So, yeah.
So how did you go about, if you don't mind me asking, getting the diagnosis? Was it because your friend passed and you started not feeling good? And okay.
Well, my left leg swelled up really bad, and I thought I chopped it up to edema. I'm not thinking anything else because lupus wasn't, it's not really, talked about.
Well,
So when Terry passed away, apparently I had blood clots, and my left leg just swelled up so bad. And Brent, that same day, he said, "You need to go to the doctor because this doesn't look good." So the day she died, I went into Baylor, and I didn't come out 3 months later. I came out 3 months later. So I guess I was in kidney failure. I was 10%. The biopsies happened. They tried to put me on dialysis, but I didn't want dialysis because I want a better quality of life, because you're still in the game. I'm still in the NBC. I don't want to be tied to machines. So those doctors came in, when 6 doctors come in, it's not good. I mean, just give me one doctor, but when they all come in, but it's a mindset because they were so negative. They want to just keep me comfortable. There's nothing we can do. You're at stage 5, which is, they call the end of life, the end stage. And I'm like, so the doctors, they were negative. I dismissed them completely. And I kept that one person that was positive. And I just started just Googling stuff. But I still had to do the chemo because, when you're ready stage 4, stage 5, you cannot take a chance of being strictly holistic. I can't. And I think Steve Jobs, I think that happened to him because he got the cancer and he was trying to be holistic. But when you're that close, I kind of mix a holistic with the regular medicine because it was too close, But then I was able to fully go holistic and my kidneys got better and I didn't have to do dialysis. So I was, I stayed strict for a while, but it's hard when you're so used to eating what you want to eat and being a beef person, and then you can't have any of this, so you have to go cold turkey if you want to live. So it was a process, and seeing my parents go through it made me want to do better and try to just, but at that time, all I thought about was NPC and competing, and I wanted to go to the Olympia and I wanted to qualify, and it's so important to have a well-rounded life. Competing is not everything, and I learned the hard way that it's not, you think that you're not relevant unless you're on stage. And that is not, that's not the case. So I have a good handle on it now. I keep my stress levels down. I meditate now and, and things are great actually.
That's amazing. What a story. Oh my goodness. I know we met, I didn't know like the depth of your story. And I think that's incredible, especially because you're having a milestone birthday this year here.
I am. I will be 60.
Hey.
Hey.
That's
amazing. Yes. And I tell my friends I want to travel. I want to go somewhere, and go there, and whoever can meet me there, come there, and let's just party, but because we were talking about Cancun and then Costa Rica, and then all that mess happened with Mexico, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go there. So, but I want to go. Then I thought about Italy because I heard, that maybe Italy is a beautiful place to go to, and I thought about that. But then my show is coming up in August that I'm promoting, so it's in the middle of that. So I'm like, but I'm doing something. I know that I am doing something. I just don't know what. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit because I was thinking, like, how do you manage the shows and just life in itself? Because you're already talking about the fact that, here's my birthday, but here's the show, and you're trying to balance, like, when do I fit me in?
Right.
And stress.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yes.
How is the promoting thing not stressful?
Well, I have a question
Well, you know what?
before that.
Yes.
When did you become a promoter? Like what made you decide to become a
2016.
promoter? Okay.
2016, yeah. So it'll be 7 years. I think last year was 7 years. Or this year, 7 years. This year, 7 years. Yes. And what happened was I got the call. It wasn't my decision.
Okay.
I got the call to put on a show.
Nice.
And see, I'm not, Mrs. Savvy is not my forte. I'm artsy and I like to do posing and touch people and, that. And so I called Freddie right away, Freddie Nadeau. He was on a cruise. And I said, they just offered me a show. Can you help me? And just like that, he said yes, and we never looked back. So that helps take the stress off. And because he stresses, I can't stress. Because I had to keep his
That's
stress
the
levels
thing.
down. We both can stress, right? We balance each
Right.
other. He is my work husband.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
So, but
And how'd y'all
it
meet?
does get overwhelming. I was he's my client. He's my posing client.
Oh.
Before he got his pro card. So he was a bodybuilder. And then I told him that he's got to fix his back. And if you even think about trying to be a bodybuilder, first of all, you're too small. You need to find something else you need to do. So, and he always loves to tell that story because it makes me look like I'm so mean. So he loves to. So I'm just nipping in the butt. I'm saying it now. Yeah, I said it. So he switched from bodybuilding to men's physique. And he was the first Indian to get his pro card in Miss Physique. So then he went to the Olympia. Yeah, he won the Europa Pro. He won the Europa as an amateur. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I knew he competed, but the fact that you guys were like close in that way, that he was your client, that's how you guys kind of started off. That's super dope.
And
I
that's where
love
that
that.
trust came from, because I trust him, I know him. Yeah. So, but yeah, the stress still comes, and it won't come until we'll say, how many people in the show? 75. That's the hardest thing, because about a month out, we had 75 to battle, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And we were literally saying that we can't have 75 people. He said, should we have the show? We were thinking that. And then, like, no, just chill out. It'll happen. Because, I touch so many people. And a lot of people, they won't sign up until the last minute. I said, let's just keep on going. Next thing you know, it was 100. Next thing you know, it was 150. And then next thing you know, it was like, I think 767 or whatever it was. So,
777.
yeah. 777.
Yeah.
I remember y'all saying 666. So, yeah. 777. Yeah.
Almost my wedding date, by the way. I'm all about the 7. So for some reason, you drew me into the perfect show. I was meant
oh
to
my
be
goodness.
There. Well, almost 777. It was 7717, but everything around it was circulated around 7s. Yeah.
Wow.
But wow,
yeah.
you guys really balance each other out super, super well. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I was one of those latecomers. I was already signed up for a whole nother show. But the way you got on this Instagram, I felt like you were talking to me.
Really? I'm glad, because I love to hear that feedback, because when Stephanie asked me when I first started promoting in 2016, we just had that one show.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were in December. We're like, what show survives in December? Because at that point, the show stopped after the nationals.
Yeah.
So, and then we were excited. We were so excited that first show, it was 200 people. Y'all, we were so excited. You swear it was the Olympia. Yes, 200 people. Yes. Oh, yeah, we're in. But, but in December, it's still good. That means people actually died it through Thanksgiving to do our show. So that's how we see it. And then every year it just got better and better. And next thing you know, we made it a pro show with Men's Physique. Then we added bikini to it. And then we got the Texas Pro, I think, was that 3 years ago, maybe? 2020 is when we came with the Texas Pro in the middle of the pandemic. Yes, during COVID. Yes, exactly. And so now we have all categories except we don't have bodybuilding. We don't have women's bodybuilding. We have everything else, but yeah. So it's a great run. But it is stressful, and people think that it's like a glamorous life. It's not all glam, because you gotta, beg people for money. Be a vendor, be a vendor, be a vendor, be a vendor. That's the hardest thing. And I'm not good with asking people for money. So it's hard when you're in Texas and there's already 25 shows and these vendors are already giving their money to different promoters. It's hard to get them to come to our show because they try to support everybody, So the hardest thing is getting vendors for the show. Competitors, they'll come. But the vendors, that's the hardest thing.
Wow. Does a show survive without vendors, or maybe that's not the way to ask it, but how important is having vendors at a show for you all?
It's very important because that brings in the crowd, and some people, when they go and they looking at their competitor, that their friend that's competing, we want them to find something to do as well while their competitor is, not on stage, and this brings in money for us. Like this helps with the cost of the venue.
Right.
And venues, flying the judges down, and putting them up, and and it's different because you have these like top judges that we want at our show. So top judges cost top money. Then we pull out all the stops. Or it should be like that. If you get a Tyler Mannion, Sandy Williamson, Gary, you come down, then you're pulling out all the stops. The best hotel, the suite here, and have the goodie bags in their room. And then if we have 7 judges, that's 7 airline tickets coming from everywhere. So the vendors, that helps with that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That was a great perspective because we as athletes, we just don't know how much it takes and how much goes into creating the shows and even giving the judges their spotlight and just being there to really sit and really judge you this long period of time. Yeah, so that was great to hear what it takes to, pull it all together.
It does. It helps to know too what the registration fees are going for, because on our side we're like, $975. Oh my God! Oh, how am I gonna?
Yes, I know.
And a flight.
And do you know, to book a venue, it can easily cost, and that this is lowballing it because it's not ours, but some venues cost as low as 10, 15,000. Now ours is different, but we would spend 25,000 easily for one day. I remember when we booked one ballroom and we weren't expecting it to be so big. It got so big that we had to buy the next ballroom at the last minute. So we had to spend another 25 grand because during COVID, it was the 6 feet apart. So we had to make a bigger venue so that there was fire marshal was there. So nobody can sit next to each other. So we had to have a bigger venue. You know what I mean? So it was like stuff you don't think about. They charge you for electricity, for using the outlets and the Wi-Fi. They charge for that. Yep. And the vendors, they need a Wi-Fi because they need the ring lights or whatever they're using.
Cash apps and all of the things.
Yes.
Wow.
I had no idea all that goes into.
Oh, yes, for sure. So if y'all ever think about the promoting aspect of it, but it's rewarding because I think athletes make the best promoters because you know what you want. So you know what you want to present for your athlete because that's what, that's how you are, so that's why I think athletes make the best promoters because they know that they want to get a hotel that's microwave and refrigerator. And they know that, they want backstage to be comfortable because that's how you would want it. So
yeah,
I have to say that happened to me at Sid's show or Peach Classics. I had an issue with my makeup being way too close time for me to get on stage. And I talked to her and just like that, she was like, I got you. We'll take care of it. And she took care of it. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yes. And it's because she's an athlete.
Yeah.
So we cater more to athletes because I know how it is if, you book your makeup and then next thing you know it. I mean, a couple of people miss their stage. A couple of pros miss their stage at my show. Right. Because the hardest thing is sometimes you want your own person to do your makeup, but that person's probably not allowed backstage. So that means you're somewhere else. So I said, if you go outside of the official makeup person, at least have her come to you in your hotel room. So all you got to do is walk instead of going to her, so that is the hardest thing is because the makeup, that makes you feel pretty. If your makeup is, if you can't get your makeup too close or, you miscalculate when you get on stage or sometimes the stage, the competitors, they're running it faster than normal. There you go. You're out of luck.
Wow.
And we judge that because Tyler said, does hair and makeup matter? And he said, you take a girl that's built incredible and the tan is splotchy and the makeup she doesn't look She looks unkept. You have another girl that from head to toe. Of course, our eye's going to gravitate to this girl because she's from top to bottom. So that's that extra edge. The eyes to pop and the tan to be even, and the skin to look healthy. You want that from top to bottom look, just like the finishing touch. So girls that think that I'm gonna do my own makeup, even if you're a makeup artist, some girls won't even do their own makeup because you're a bundle of nerves,
Yeah.
So some makeup artists, they kind of hire another makeup artist to do their makeup, if they're competitors. So yeah.
I mean, that's a valid point, actually. So I'm glad you shared that with us. That's incredible. I'm just taking notes.
Yes.
Carry
Me
on.
too. Don't worry.
Are y'all taking notes? Make you feel like inadequate. Let me take some notes. I guess let me
No.
find a pen.
No. This is your party. That's good. We like I said, we like to have a conversation, but sometimes I might want to like circle back to something I heard, but
Of
I don't want to
course,
interrupt
yeah.
the flow at the time. So that's all that is. But
Yeah.
so that is actually good to know and good advice for competitors, not just what goes into it, but as far as y'all's side of things, but also in what you're looking for, because we did talk about that at Shawn's Couture's event, as far as doing your own makeup versus having somebody else do your makeup. And she said some of the same points that you said, like you're going to be nervous, you're going to be pressed for time, and so on and so forth. And the last thing we want to do is be stressed out right before we're getting on stage, because we're already stressed out from being nervous. So that's a valid point. That was a valid point. And that's something that he talked about at this workshop that y'all just
he
had?
talked about hair and makeup, talked about he's really against tanning your face. The women should not tan their face, rely on the foundation for that. Some girls will tan their face, but you don't know if that chemical is you're gonna get a chemical reaction from that tan. So even Pro-Tan, and Pro-Tan did also do a seminar, and they talked about the same thing, like do not tan your face, don't use Dove soap. I didn't know that about don't use Dove soap. But she said that at the women's workshop. Dove is the enemy.
Enlighten us. Is it?
Because she said
the
creamy consistency doesn't do well with the tan. So if anything, because she said anything, just don't use any deodorant. But she said for sure not Dove. Yeah.
Wow.
I never knew that. What's it about? I'm different though, because I'm not white. You know what I mean? So I never turned green. But I know some black girls, they have turned green, but I'm not one of them. So yeah. But sometimes I'll dab it, just because I just can't. But I'm not gonna use Dove anymore. Yeah, it is tough.
Let's stick to the point. Don't use Dove, y'all.
Right. Yeah.
Pre-show.
For whatever the reason was, all I remember is Dove is the enemy. Don't use Dove. I think it was a week before the show.
Oh, okay. So not just before show day and before tanning, but like literally leading up to the show.
She said. Leading up to the show.
This is why we need to go
about. Yes.
I feel like there's a commercial out there, and I'm not going to say it's Dove, but it's like they use two soaps, and one of the soaps leave a little bit more
a film.
And the other one washes off a bit more. So I feel like when you say that, that's what I think about, and that's what's reacting like negatively with the tan. If
well, you know what?
And
you're right.
Dove is like that, and I guess for me, like especially with my son, I don't use Dove with him, especially because he has like eczema. It's not good for his skin, so it's like all of that is like playing a part for me in that. I'm like, something about it. I can't.
I was trying to find what she said, but also, have y'all tried when you wear Dove? It's hard to scrub it off.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes,
but that's feeling that it leaves on you.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I don't put the Dove on at night before I go to bed, because you wake up in the morning, I'm running late trying to scrub the old Dove off. So come on. But
That's
yeah, when I
funny.
find it, I'll let you know what she said, because she'll do like a little Q&A. She'll say, and like she's not big on Veet or Nair,
Mm-hmm.
and waxing is the way to go. And I took a snapshot of the PowerPoint. I'm gonna let y'all have it, because it comes in handy.
Yeah.
When somebody actually takes time, and that's why it's so important to go to these workshops. First of all, because it's free, and these are things that even pros like me being a pro, I didn't think about that. Just just like don't do legs too close before your show.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that these beginners need to know.
Facts. That is definitely why we need to find ways to get to these workshops or bring
Hold
workshops
on, I
closer to
found it.
us. Okay.
She said, avoid Dove and Dove type products. Disregard. Darker does not mean better. Remember that. The overcoat rule is a 3-coat rule. Always ask for a 3-coat. I'm reading this we're talking about for the tanning. But I thought she was going to talk more about the Dove, but she said avoid Dove and all Dove type products.
Mm-hmm.
That means anything that has the same kind of film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think those natural deodorants work.
They don't.
I use the natural deodorant though. I do.
I don't like
You
them.
do? Which one?
I'm good. Let me go find a name, because I always butcher names.
Yeah, go find it and tell us what it is.
Is.
I've tried one. I can't remember the name of it, because once I started hearing about, don't have aluminum and all that stuff, and then I tried the natural, but the natural like broke me out. Like, I was like, I'd rather just use the regular deodorant, because I had just a bad rash, and then I just felt like it didn't hold, like it didn't keep the odor away or anything like that either. So
yeah.
How long did you use it for? Because sometimes it does take a little bit for your body to adjust, and sometimes that could take up to a year for some people. And of course, no one wants to smell it for that long.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Like my first show, actually, I had just actually started with my deodorant, and it was like, oh man, this is not very good.
Oh, especially in Vegas.
Yeah, but the one I use right now is Kupari.
I never even heard of that. That's bougie.
Yeah, where do you get that from?
I can get mine on Amazon. I can't find it in like the stores really, or at least I don't know what store to find it in. Yeah, so I get it from Amazon.
Okay, y'all, I lied. Don't use Dove a day before.
Oh, okay.
So she said a week before, begin exfoliating daily. And then a day before, complete hair removal and base tan if needed. And then a day before, disregard any use of Dove type products.
Okay.
Noted. Way off. See?
Y'all heard it here. No Dove before the show.
No Dove the day before.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to throw in. I just used Liquid Sun Rays, and that was your how do I say? I'm like sponsor. I don't know.
Oh no! Let me tell you, we have Pro Tan for the Texas Pro and Liquid Sun Rays for the battle. So we use both. Yes, for the battle. Yes.
Okay. So I use Liquid Sun Rays, but I knew I was going to use them regardless. But coming into them, I just love the fact that they have their whole, package. I wasn't worried about any other soap. I just wanted to use what was their brand. So
they have the whole line, right?
Yeah, they have their soap, they have their body wash, they have their body scrub. Just make life easy for yourself. If you're using Liquid Sun Rays or if you're using Pro Tan, just use their stuff, just so that
to be on the
your
safe side
comes out the way it needs.
Yes. And then you know who to blame.
There you go.
I tell people, like, when you try to have a prep coach and then you start asking everybody else, what do you do? Then you don't even know who to blame when you don't win, because you've asked 3 or 4 different people,
right?
Instead of listening to your prep coach. So you stick with one person so you know who to, give shade to.
Drink to that. Let me
drink to that. Yes, because you get those people that. But now sometimes you might have the wrong prep coach, right? And then, but you want to finish them out because you already paid for them in advance. My show's in 3 weeks. No other trainer would touch you 3 weeks before a show. So it's like so many variables. But I'm big on chemistry. Like if you have good chemistry with your prep coach, you should be able to talk to him about, I don't like this fish, or I think, they should be able to take in, suggestions from you instead of just going side. I believe in that. Like when I'm posing people, I'm like, how do you feel about this pose? And what do you want to do? Yeah, let's try that. And, be open, because that's how you keep that, keep that client is listen to what they have to say. I don't know why. How'd I get on that subject? Y'all didn't even ask me
but
about
it was perfect because it is the segue to another question, because you definitely, or we definitely did not hit on the fact that you are also a posing coach, other than the little nubs that we throw in about, Freddie being one of your clients and what you just mentioned. So, I mean, all of this happening, you went from competing to they're calling you up, and now you're promoting this show. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry.
We skipping steps
because
too.
it just brings me back to the first story of how your journey started in the first place. They just coming for you.
Yep.
Right.
Which is beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
but how did
it
you
is beautiful.
and when did you transition to becoming a posing coach?
Yeah.
I was a posing coach before I got my pro card. So my first client was Ronnie Coleman. So he was my first one. Yes, I think I had him
you
for the first.
Connected.
Yeah, I am. It was him. He came straight from Gremlin, and then he was still a cop. And no, he was with It was right after he did I have when he was a cop? Yeah, I think I did. But yeah, he was my first client, and then I got Branch. Like they came to me because there was no posing coach, and Ronnie did this routine, and he was chewing gum on that stage, and I'm like. He was chewing gum and he was doing the Tootsie Roll, y'all. Do y'all know? Have y'all heard of the Tootsie Roll?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
he was doing it on stage?
I don't know. I don't know the. Yes. And I'm like, Ronnie, I said, don't you ever do the Tootsie Roll ever again. While he was chewing gum. And he would I'm like, don't ever do that. Well, tell me what I need to do. And that was it. So I had him. And then Branch Warren was, so I had the best of both worlds. I got one guy that had rhythm and one guy that was just as white as all get out, with purely white, had no rhythm. His music was, Metallica, the screaming music, and I had to teach him rhythm. And that boy got best poser at the Arnold. So it was a win-win. Yeah. He started getting his music mixed with DMZ now and Limp Bizkit and Kid Rock. So he came out. So yeah, those are my first two. And then Johnny Jackson. Wow. So it was mainly men. And then I started with men first. And then now it's that's transpired now that my biggest clientele now is bikini. Well, I guess bikini wellness and figure. But I started with bodybuilding because that's what I did. And then, but the dance background, I think, helped me with the posing.
Yeah. I find that dancers do tend to be able to transition into competing a little bit better than people who don't. Or people like me who are just like quiet and awkward and don't have that much rhythm. But it seems like dancers, they just really kind of just flow, and it's just so easy and fluid.
They embrace the stage. Yes. Yeah. When I'm judging, I have when I'm looking at them in my head, I've got to be able to be attracted.
Yes.
I think of who attracts me, and even though like I'm heterosexual, when you're a judge, you gotta blur those lines. And if I see a girl, oh yeah, she's hot, she's sexy. I can see me, making her get in first place. You have to be good with that. Just like a guy judge has to look at another guy and said, oh yeah, he he's good looking. He can do a Mrs. The judge has to be able to do that. I can do a guy all the time, like, oh yeah, he's fine. I could, but you got to get used to. I don't like bald head, but if he looks good, okay, I'll just bypass bald head because because I used to judge by the way I'm attracted to him.
Yeah.
And if they were bald, I'm like, oh, I like that bald head, but okay, look past the bald head. Okay, from the neck down, he's real fine. Okay, so you do that. The girl, oh yeah, she's hot. Yeah, like Urissa to me, Urissa is hot, but she's getting too, she's getting a little bit too thick, around the lower body. But to me, I was able to say, oh, she's sexy, she's beautiful. Women, we can do that. Male judges, they can't do that. They're like, I mean, he's okay. I said, no, you got to look like, oh yeah, he's a good looking dude. They got to be able to say that.
Yeah.
I can do that all day long. Like Jessica, Sydney, they're sexy to me. So it makes me want to look at them longer. They capture my attention because I'm able to just open up and say, okay, now that's sexy the way she did that. I can do that. And that helps me with my judging. Like when a girl is looking at me and she's walking out and she's still connecting with me, and when she does her transitions and she's still looking, that makes me connect. But when a girl walks out and she's looking over me, and her head is down or, walking away, she's not doing that lingering look, I don't connect. But if they're kind of like that, it makes it like, all right, then I see you. Come on, then. That kind of it helps me with my judge. You have to be like openly like good with where you are, so that you can openly say, oh yeah, she could work that. You can't be jealous because there's some badass women in this sport, y'all.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay knowing that. I know I don't got it, but that chick, oh, is she off the chain? You got to be able to say that.
I feel like that about
we don't do that
and
enough.
Steph.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I was like, I was telling everybody, chicken and yellow, chicken and yellow. I was at the judge's table, chicken and yellow. Miss Brown, can you go back and say? I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I mean, she just has a mood. She like, please, it's not a good look for you to be whispering. I just want y'all to look at her presentation. But I've been getting passionate. I was calling everybody. Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
but you know what?
To see that.
That is good. And let's stay here for a minute. Let's get real and raw about judging. But before I say that, when you said you posed Ronnie Coleman, I was like, oh, it all makes sense. They always say behind every great man is a great woman. And so now we know.
Right.
Now we know Mr. D. Ronnie Coleman, one of the top Olympians. We know who was behind that swag, and that's amazing.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
I love that plug, B.
Right. Yes. I'm just trying to let them know if they didn't know, now they know.
That was the real.
That was the real.
Yeah.
So
and we actually guest post together. Post together. I had a dance group, and I forgot what the name of the song was, but we came out. It was 2, 3, 4 girls, and we had the raincoat with the thigh-high boots, and then we had this rope, and we pulling Ronnie out on the stage, and then he did his thing. That was like, so I would guest post with my clients too. That was like, seeing Ronnie in that element. Yeah.
I'm trying to see all of these. Like, where can I
post this? Is this on YouTube?
Oh my God! I hope not. It was so
you gonna catch us diving in later? Like, I found it.
Ooh, yes. Wow, I was proud of it then, but like looking at myself, I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? What kind of outfit was that? Oh goodness, yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, that's wild. So let's get real and raw about judging, since you are also a judge. So you've gone from bodybuilding to women's physique to pro to promoting, and you were posing in between there. So let's first talk about judging. When did you start judging, and what made you want to do that?
They called
I started judging it like in the 80s.
They called it.
The 90s,
She's literally
maybe?
called to do this sport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the 90s, before I got my pro card.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the 90s. And yeah, it wasn't that many. There wasn't that many of us. Oh, there was just one. It was just me. Yeah, it was just me. Not that many female judges either. So I started pretty close to it, but maybe a couple of years after I started competing.
Okay.
So I'm one of the ones that I'm still around. Everybody else is, from that day, they're not. So they kept me through all these different chairmen, which is I'm really thankful for.
Yeah.
Wait, so they really called you? It wasn't something that you was like, I think I wanted to dive into this. They called you.
Oh no. Yeah, I never volunteered anything in this industry ever. No. Like, yeah, you should be a judge. Okay. You need to have a show. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of basically what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, that
but
is
I
real
love
life
doing it.
being called. Wow. Like in the flesh, being called to do something. Wow, that's crazy. And do you still judge now?
Yes, but now because my clientele is so big in Dallas, I judge in Oklahoma. I had judge in Oklahoma, and I was judging the nationals. But now because we have these shows, I just so busy with shows. But I judge Mississippi, Oklahoma. I judge everything but Texas.
Okay.
I judge Texas if it's far, far away, because even though the perception is people think because if I pose somebody, she's going to win. But how does it look if I make her win and she doesn't even deserve to win? That makes me look bad. And that's just jeopardizing my job. So no, because if, I pose you, but at the end of the day, if I give you first and everybody else is giving you fifth or sixth, that sheds, a negative light on me. So, but it's still a perception of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I could be harder on them because there's nothing they don't know. I wish you would bend over too much. I wish your butt would bend over and grab your ankles. But yeah, so yeah, that. And I just travel with the workshop people, and they use me as a posing coach for the workshops here in Texas. So, and sometimes I just like to just oversee to make sure, because sometimes the pros are helping, but sometimes the pros have been pros to the point where they forget about amateurs don't get 30 seconds, they get 10. But you're so used to what you do now. Or just like you have a new pro, she's still stuck on the 10-second routine. Because those new pros, sometimes the new pros, they'll do their routine so fast that they're a new pro. So it's the same thing with, yeah, exactly. And then it's hard not to be starstruck because you appear competing with girls that you've looked up to in the magazine. And, it's just a whole thing. But like some of these girls that help with the posing, we have to remind them. Now, remember, NPC only gets 10 seconds. No, they don't get them. They don't get a T-walk. But because if you're a pro, that's what you do now. It's hard to remember back that no T-walk. It's just 10 seconds. And not everybody walks to the line, so stuff like that. So sometimes I just kind of oversee what the other pros are teaching just to make sure, because just because you're a pro doesn't mean your posing is on point. And just because your posing is on point doesn't mean you know how to teach somebody else how to pose. Like some girls, and one of my girlfriends, Dre, she'll say it. Dre can pose her butt off, but she says, but I can't teach it. So she sends her people to me because she can do it her own. But she's going to end up teaching them only what she knows.
Right.
And, they need a variety of, some girls turn the toes out, turn the toes in a little bit, don't turn the toe, so you got to be able to just fit in with whoever you're posing and with their body type.
Yeah,
so,
that's real. That's real advice. And that's why I always tell people when they ask me, I'm like, look, I'm not a posing coach. I can tell you what I know until you find one. But that's not my lane, like at all. At all.
But it helps that you tell them something so they come with a foundation of, this is your front pose, this is your back pose, some wellness girls will think their routine has to be all four corners. But like Tyler said, you hit the meat and the potatoes, your best front, your best side, your back, and another front or side. You don't hit all four corners. First of all, you can't hit that in 10 seconds.
Right.
But you have the newbies that will do all four in their routine. I said, don't show them your weak side, because we're already going to see it when you come out in the group. So you want that first call out, just show us your best of the best. So I don't know how I got on that subject. I'm gonna take me a drink because I don't know what to
No, that was good
It's
to
fine.
know, because I'm trying to learn
Yeah.
all things new about poses. So I was like,
Yes.
oh, okay.
We want to know all the judging not insider like judging, but like for new people or new pros
Yeah,
like me, or
yeah,
even like seasoned competitors, because there's so many different stigmas out there about judging and what they're
mm-hmm.
looking for, and and the politics and all of the things. Like, for
Yeah,
instance, when I came in, I was told that I couldn't compete with my short hair. I needed long hair, to the point where I'm going out 20 minutes before I'm supposed to be on stage in my very first show to go get a wig to put on because I needed long hair, and I know that the sport is evolving and stuff like that, but I've heard
right.
all the things. You
Yeah,
can't have short hair. There's politics involved, some coaches know the judges and they already know who they're going to pick and all of that. But
yeah.
since you're a judge and you've just seen the evolution of bodybuilding, like, what are some things that we, the listeners, we, the competitors, should know about judging, and how can we use that information to bring a better presentation or a better package to the school?
So what trainer does not know a judge? Every trainer knows a judge, because they're going to go to the judge saying, what can my girl work on? I mean, they should. I mean, so that has no bearing, again, because if that's the case, all my clients would have won. When I'm not judging, so, and I know the judges, but if my client should win, she should. It doesn't matter that I know. It's still, they're gonna see the best physique of that day. So yeah, and a lot of trainers will kind of use that to keep that client on his team or her team. Like, okay, no, because I talked to such and such, and they said that, you leave here, then you're done. That's never the case. You're only done if you have a criminal record. You can have an OnlyFans page and win. Get me on that. But you can have an OnlyFans page. You can have 1 follower or 300,000 followers. It doesn't matter, because we don't even have time to look at your page to see anything. Okay, you have 300,000 followers. Okay, your suit is real blinged and it was done by Muscle Dazzle. It doesn't matter. It's how you look the day of the show. Because it's going to draw negative attention if we place you merely because of your followers, because we can place you as a winner with 300,000 followers if you look good. It's just a coincidence you have 300,000 followers. It's not because of that. So that's the main thing. Politics, I don't see politics in the local level at all. And that's why they've gotten rid of, to be a judge, you cannot be a trainer. They prefer you not to compete and be a judge. They prefer you to stop competing altogether. So they don't want any trainers on the judges panel. So they're switching that, because some people just don't know how to act. So that's not the case. If I do see politics, it's in the pro ranks. And it's only if, like, okay, for instance, if you have a Miss Olympia, you got to knock her out to take her place. You can't just win by 1 point. So if that's politics, that's different, because she's Miss Olympia. He's Mr. Olympia. So if it's because the tan was off, that's not a make it or break it. Locally, that could be a make it or break it. What other politics? No, because it used to be a lot of politics, but now, no. Like Ronnie won 8. Maybe the politics would be somebody knew Ronnie wasn't going to win, but he didn't know he was going to win. So they're going to go and just kind of let him know, just let you know, just to soften the blow, you're not going to win. That kind of, you kind of give that little, out of respect, that's how I am. If I know someone, I know that they've been winning, they're not going to win. I don't want them to get blindsided. So yeah, I'll go backstage. That was lady, you know, right now, this is not going to be your year. So that politics is, I can pose somebody, and I can ask somebody else, what do you think about this pose? No, she needs to turn her toes here, or the suit, or the traps, and tell her to go to this show. They're not saying go to the show and win, but go to the show after she makes the changes, So it can be perceived as political, and it's not. If it's political, it's so behind the scenes that I don't even see it. What's an example of political that I've seen this year, last year? Like, some people think that Jennifer and Maureen were political, and it's like two sides. So to me, I just thought Jennifer had it. Her stage presence, and partially because I know her personally, and Maureen wasn't in my radar just because I'm not familiar with Maureen. And then when that guy came out and did the comparison, saying that, Jennifer was standing too wide and that right glute was higher than the other glute, and then maybe she was too hard. See, that can be perceived as political. But if it is political, we don't know that behind the scenes stuff. But it's not going to be black and white, like she won because she knows the judges. Because every competitor knows the judges now. Y'all know the judges. So that it's if it is political, it's so far removed from us, from the naked eye, that we can't even see it. So that's so it's hard. I've never experienced it being political personally, and when I've judged, I haven't seen that. And if so, I can ask a question like, so Sandy, why did she get this and she get this? Because y'all said that y'all don't like this kind of glute, but yet she got this. And then Sandy would break it down and say, because it's an overall thing, or because she was too thick here. But in the naked eye, you think she won because she knows Sandy, or she knows when the judge is. But if we actually take time to talk to that judge and they break it down, then they'll say, blah, 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 blah. Just like somebody said that Shanique would always win. There was no one that could dethrone her. And then she gets dethroned, because I thought that. So then you're thinking it's political, so it's not political, because that could come off as political, saying she's always going to win. She's never going to lose. That could be political. And then you see somebody that wins, then that throws that out the window. Ronnie Coleman, 8 times Mr. Olympia, he lost. So it's a thin line of what's political, what's not.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, everything I heard so far sounds pretty big.
Yeah,
It does.
yeah.
I'm like,
but it's also perception, because if somebody sees somebody talking to a judge, they're going to automatically assume.
Y'all better go talk to the judge and get your feedback.
Yeah, talk to get the feedback. But like, when I was judging, I would have to be careful, even if I didn't know this person, or I didn't pose them. If they knew me and they'd be in the elevator with me, then there'd be another person seeing us talking, and then they just take it and run. But I'm in the elevator, and just because I know someone, they're not my clients, but I still know everybody because I've been around so long. But it comes off as, and if the girl ends up winning, it just looks like that. And it's not always the case. Now, there is some cases, but it's not always the case. Majority of it is more than not, So.
Yeah. That's good insight, because I didn't even think of a lot of the things that you said as it's really just a perception thing. Most people are saying, oh, it's politics, but like you stated, the one that stuck out to me the most is like, well, what coach doesn't know the judge? Because if they want their competitor to do well, they should want to talk to the judge. And I was like, light bulb, duh, that makes sense. So
And easy,
that's
somebody will come to me and say, "This is my girl. You know, what show you think she should do? She looks good. I'm gonna automatically say she's going to USA. Oh no, she should do good because I know I've seen enough bodies. I'm not saying it because it's political. I've seen enough bodies to know that no, she'll get a pro card because I know tiny waist. She's wellness, nice. You know, her quads are not overpowering her glutes. She's small to everybody. No, take to USA. I mean, to somebody else overhearing, it sounds political because if she ends up winning, they're going to think that. But it's just basically you just looking at what you know. You know, you've been around the game a long. You know that, oh, she'll get a pro card. You know, we don't care about the bald head or not. If you have the face for it and your makeup is slayed and you can rock it, rock it. It used to be like no natural hair, no tattoo. That's no tattoos, no nose rings. Girl, people are winning with all natural hair and bald heads and one whole sleeve of tattoos and a nose ring and a big old hole in the ear. It doesn't even matter anymore. If you can rock that, but if we can see what we're judging, that's all we care about. Because we like a variety. You know, not everybody, you know, we don't have to see a weave everywhere. It's refreshing to see different looks. You know, we don't like the copycat thing. So shoot, bring that variety. Seriously. Because I'll be bored up there playing Candy Crush. Like, oh my gosh, another weave. Here comes another weave again. Oh my gosh, there's another weave again. If she does that, so I'm about to say something, but I'm sorry. Forgive me if y'all do it, but if y'all do that shoulder shrug one more time, I just have to say it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was cute when it first came out, but when the whole lineup, it looks like a drill team. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm
nixing my shoulder shrug immediately.
Like do their own thing. I said, where'd you get that from? Somebody on Instagram. Oh my God. I'm gonna wear blue because Ashley wore blue, and then I guarantee you will not win because you wear blue. But that right there, that drives me crazy. But seriously, what is it though? Is it because you saw someone else? They saw someone else do it? Is that what it is?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is, isn't it? Yes. And then why you want to do something somebody else is doing?
Yeah.
And when you see the whole row do it, it almost looks like a straight up copycat. You know, I'm sorry.
Hilarious.
No more drinking for you, Sheila.
You know what? I'm about to be real honest too, because real quick, Lana's pose, she nixed it. I know she does. I haven't seen her do it in a while, so I'm guessing she took it out. But her little,
okay.
I don't even know. Does anyone know what it's called? That little, I don't know if it's like a stallion looking pose, the one where she is standing from the back and she looks over her shoulders.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, they still do that? Because they used to do that a long time ago, like back pose and then look over.
Yeah, but Lana did it more so at the beginning of this year. She looked amazing doing it. It was like, wow. But then someone tried to copy it. I'm like, no, don't do that. It's just
that's Lana's.
That's right. Lana. Like, as long as she's doing that, like we know already that you're trying to mock that, and it's not going to work for everyone. So once again, let's not be. You know, we can get inspiration from other people's poses, but don't just snatch it up all the time. It's not necessary.
Find your thing and find your niche so that somebody can copycat you.
Yeah, but also tell them to focus
that's a bar.
on what the main poses are.
That's true. That part, because Tyler did say some of the girls are spending too much time on their transitions. The transition is a comma. It's not. It's not a it's a front pose. Da 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 da. Pause. Da da. But it's not. Some girls are pausing at every one, and it should flow. So he said, basically, we're looking to see. I'll look at the front pose, and then honestly, I'll look down until they go to the back. Then I'm looking up again because I just want to see that glute. Now, if she looks good, I'm gonna look at the pose because I pose. But if they're doing something and they're like captivating me, I'll keep looking. But if not, I'll look up, I'll look down. Then when they face the back, I look back up again. By the time they turn back around, I'm looking down. So in their head, I'm not looking at them. And I try to explain to them, I don't care about the side. I'm looking at that front and back pose. Same thing with wellness. Wellness, we look more because we got to look at the balance on both sides, front pose. So I stick more with looking at wellness because side pose, bam, okay, back pose, okay, side, that's different. But for bikini, the transition, even with the transition, that's cute and I love it. But my pen goes to the paper when you're still. So that's another thing. Yeah.
And are y'all writing notes or are you writing scores down when you're not looking?
Everything. Yeah.
Okay.
If someone catches my eye, whether it's a negative or a positive, I'm writing notes in case they come to me. Or sometimes I'll seek them out. Like you have great potential, or your suit. If it's something that really bothers me, like sometimes the bikini bottom that's real long, that it almost there's no heart shape. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that are just it's just straight up the crack, and then and there's no dip. It's just straight across the lower back. That reminds myself to either pull it down because it doesn't make the glutes better when it's almost a G-string. If they have a little bit rounded effect, then it makes it. So I'll see something that catches my eye and I'll start writing notes. But I'm always going to write notes because I'd rather them come to me right after the show instead of waiting for feedback. Because sometimes, y'all, that feedback takes forever for y'all to get. So if you're at a show and you can see that judge and you're willing to wait, get into their face, because when you're in our face, we can see. If you come to me in my face, I'm gonna have you pose right there. Let me see your back pose. Okay, because it's gonna stick better than getting a picture, and the angle is a different kind of angle. You know the angle, the most flattering angle. How's my butt look? We'll face the back first, and then we can look at the. But yeah, but I'm taking notes, and like I'll have a category A, that's my first call out. Then category B is my second call out. But I always judge from the bottom up. Like it's easy for me to find the ones that have more flaws, because there'll be some bikini classes, some wellness classes that they all look good. So you should try to start from the bottom up, like no, and then you get the meat of it. So, and then sometimes Sandy doesn't, she doesn't, but Sandy will say, she'll call the top 7, then she'll say 21, 22, 23, exit the stage, but stay down there. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to rejudge it again. And then she'll bring other people in. Then she'll bring the people that she released back. That stresses me out, because I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So these are not set in stone. She makes me like overthink, like, okay, what did I mess up? But I've learned to just keep what I like. Because sometimes I would overthink it, and and that's not the case. And y'all, just because you're in the center doesn't mean you won, and just because you're on the end doesn't mean you got 6th. So because sometimes we see a clear winner, we're not gonna move her. Like everybody, that's like unanimous. So then the top 2 are like 2nd and 3rd, or they're fighting for 3rd and 4th, or if it looks good, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We won't shift them around. We'll just keep them if they happen to land in the order of the placing. But, and some girls think, I've seen some girls in second call out bump up to first call out, but never come back to the show. Come back, y'all. Especially if you're in a second call out, come back. Because that has happened several times when, we judged the class, and the girl that was in second call out, we moved her in first call out and moved somebody else out. So anything happens, like at the drop of a hat. So remember that for sure.
That's good news. That's good to know.
I was
Especially
actually
that
at one show that I did. They did the call outs, they let us go. Then we came back for finals, and they actually rejudged the whole thing over again.
Oh wow.
Yes. Yeah. And some people in their heads, they don't come back, and they could have moved up, but they think, I'm not coming back because I was in second call out. Girl, please. I've seen, like you just said, they rejudge a whole class. That means don't go home and eat. Stick with the regimen, because you just never know. Yeah.
That's good to know. And it's good sportsmanship too. to come back.
It is. It is good sportsmanship. Yes. It's
Do
also good
judges
sportsmanship
remember
when
that? Oops, sorry.
oh, they remember. Yeah, no, it's also good sportsmanship when they say time to get your butt out that stage. You know, instead of when they say, you know, some girls, the expert would say time and the girl is still going slow and she's still finishing. If you're in the back pose and they say time, hit your last pose and say thank you. Don't go and I'm gonna keep on walking and then I'm gonna flip the hair because judges do not like that. And that they remember that more than anything is how long you took when somebody else said time. And so this other girl is kind of doing baby steps, waiting for you to do your whole episode. You know, so
yeah.
So that's
okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Get your butt off the stage.
Get your butt off the stage. I mean, 11 seconds is good. I know, like the nationals, they are going to be strict with that because it's going to be so many people. But they did say that women are going to be on Friday and the men are going to be on Saturday.
Nice,
Stephanie. Yeah. Subliminal message. So you'll be one and done on Friday night.
I like that format actually.
Yeah.
They did that this past year, and the year I did it in, I think it was 2019. It was 2 days. That's hard. It's like that's hard.
It's expensive too. If it's like prejudging on one day, then it was 2 days of makeup, 2 days of tanning. That's
I didn't even think about all of
that. Yes. Yeah, that's expensive. So that's good. That's all one day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that. And before we move on to that, because I had a question since you said that. The judging, what don't the judges like to see besides the time and encroaching on somebody's time? What are things that judges don't actually like that people think they do?
Being on the sidelines and still moving continuously. Yeah. Or even in the call out. I mean, you can like ration out your poses because they know that you have to reset, but resetting continuously here, that. I've seen some judges say, ladies, please be still. We see you. Steve Weinberg has said that before because, because it is distracting. Yeah. It is distracting and be still long enough for us to be able to look at your body. So that's a pet peeve, you know, that bend over too much, trying to show your glutes and hamstring. They don't like the bend over the waist at all. They do call you out. Some of them will call you on that. That's at every workshop. Do not bend over the waist. Keep the chest up. Arch, you know, create an arch in your back pose without bending over. And I talk to girls, they say, well, I'm trying to show my glute hamstring. Honey, if you don't have it, you cannot create it. Not the day of the show. But, you know, it'll go all the way. But also it makes your waist look thicker if you're bending over too much. You know, so that's another thing they don't like. They don't like when you get your trophy and it's very visible that you're upset. Yeah. They will look like it's so like they'll expect like they'll see somebody get fifth and you can see the judges looking at the fourth and fifth and they're like, oh yeah, there's one right there. Somebody go backstage and tell. Yeah, I've been sitting backstage because of that to tell somebody. A girl would shake the hand or she'll just carry or walk off without the trophy or roll in their eyes. Yeah, they pick up on that.
People do that?
That's what.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Especially when it's that between that national qualifier, like second and third. That second place gets you that national qualifier. The third place doesn't. Yeah. It's not the disappointment. It's almost the rolling the eyes of the girl. All right, everybody, get together, and when that one girl that doesn't want to come over here, act like it until you get off stage. Then, and watch what you say on social media about the judges. Now that'll get you. That can make it political. Ooh. The judges rigged it. The judges don't know what they're talking about on social media. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of those.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mental note. They take a mental note, believe me. So
right. So even if y'all aren't necessarily looking at these people that have these 300,000 followers or what have you when they sign up for the show, surely these comments that people post are just getting back to y'all, whether you're looking for it or not.
oh, you'll see people sharing, like, there are some trollers that will send us screenshots of things. But in the same instance, if there's a judge that's saying something negative about a competitor on social media, we get those back too. They don't like that either. Like judges, don't bash the competitors and don't bash other judges. Just because you had this person first place and I had her fifth, we're still a team. So don't bash me because I put her fifth. But yeah, because somebody, I guarantee you, somebody will take a screenshot and send to us. Yeah, or they'll tag the person and then somebody will read it. Jim Mannion, Pittsburgh, they watch the post, and especially the pros. He's very protective of his pros. So, like being careful of how you are on social media. If you're a pro, he holds you to a higher standard. He expects NPC to kind of lash out and, but once you're a pro, you have to, that's why we always use pros to help volunteer, because we want them to give back. We want them to be a person that an NPC athlete looks up to. So he is very in tune with how the pros carry themselves.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
To say, it's really held to a standard. We are watching you guys and your behavior because you are a reflection of us, directly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good. I wasn't sure if you had any more on this. But it was great to hear all of that and, hear it from your point of view, not just,
Of course. And teams don't matter. You could be with a team or you could have a no-name coach. It doesn't matter. Like I know some people think they have to be with a team to get placed higher. Sometimes a team is good, but sometimes you get lost in a team if there's some big names in the team. And then sometimes being with an individual trainer is good, but sometimes, you get lost with, with that trainer. Like he could have a team, but if he has some heavy hitters, sometimes, the ones that are not heavy hitters, they kind of get lost in the shuffle. So make sure that you are somebody's number one. Make sure you're somebody's number one.
Okay, that's a bar.
Yeah.
It's dropping all the gems, Miss Sheila. Last thing, U-Landa, before we move on from that, and what judges don't like to see. What about the way they pose and touching and all of that? Is that true that they don't like it?
We don't care for that at all. The first thing we think of, it's a family-friendly show. So all the you can send me back. This here and grabbing
right.
This right here and the grabbing of the butt and that you don't have to massage your body for us to notice you, because we're not looking at that. We're waiting for you to get to the back pose. Get to the back pose, please, and let us see that. And it seems like you're wasting your 10 seconds. You got 10 seconds. Hit the front pose, do your transition, hit the back pose, and I mean, surely you can do something. You can do the hair or a smile. I mean, I'll even take this over this. That says a lot. I mean, that shoulder girl.
Listen.
I used to call it she's got the Tourette syndrome. They do it and then they go to the back and they do it again when they come back to the front, and then when they walk off they do it. So it's like 3 or 4 times. I said, if you can do 2 Tourettes, no more than 2 Tourettes.
No more than 2.
You can't do no more.
So you can do it, just no more than 2.
Right. And like the way you wear your hair. Like if you are, make sure the hair color is complementary to your complexion. I mean, if you wanted to take you serious, then don't do the pink hair because your suit is pink. Or I don't know. Especially because if your goal is to be a pro, then carry yourself like that. But if you're just an NPC, you're just having fun, that's different. Tony Tavares, I used to pose him. He's a classic pro. And when I would pose him, he had a orange Ferrari. So he had an orange mohawk. And I said, I know you better cut that hair before you get on that stage going to Team Universe. It was a mohawk and it was orange to match, and then it went to yellow. But he took it serious and he listened and he got rid of that mohawk and he got that pro card. Because for us, you want to be able to be mainstream. You want to get these sponsorships that people will say, yes, she's got the look. We can put her on, we can put her on a supplement package or a magazine. But if you got that green hair to match that green suit with those diamonds on your eyelashes and that green eyeshadow, that's not going to work.
Noted.
Unless you're doing it as a bucket list, you want to have fun. But in order to take you serious, then you would carry yourself a little bit different. Because it follows. I mean, you can still win, but somebody would go backstage and say, because somebody told me to go backstage and talk to somebody. She did the nationals. She got a pro card though, so they don't hold that against them, but you do get talked to. Is that from Texas? Yes. Go back and talk to her. So I had to go back and say, okay, just because the suit is green, don't ever wear that green hair again, now that you're a pro. Okay, because I thought because it matched. I know what you thought, sweetie, but that's not going to work. So, because you think about it, do you see any Olympians like that they're pretty much, tame. That everything kind of, it stands out, but not like so much. I don't see any Olympians, at least top 5 or top 10, that have that extra, not extra like that. The hair is pretty much tame and there's not so much flamboyancy on the lashes. It's not like that. So if you just remember that, there's nothing like that I see on the Olympia stage. But like, that's basically it. Pink suit, green suit with the pink hair, green hair, that kind of thing. The blondes, that's different because, the complexion rules with it. You can wear, like Brandi has that, she's got the blonde hair now, but she's got that complexion, so it matches. But then somebody that might be real dark, that has like a blonde hair with another streak somewhere, that would be considered over the top. So if it looks good and it matches the whole theme, your body should be a theme. Like it should not take away from the body. Your suit should not be a distraction from the body. We don't pick a girl because she's got a beautiful suit. We can say that suit is gorgeous, but that suit doesn't win the show. So posing is everything, y'all. Posing is everything now. These judges are working the girls like none other. So make sure you in posing condition. Because they're holding them out there now on the side of the stage. That's the longest pose to hold, isn't it? Just holding. And that's where you can just kind of reset it and hit it again because they get it. But that's the hardest pose. I would practice on the posing. The posing is everything. The posing is everything. The main thing. Posing.
All good points. All good tips. Definitely appreciate it. That's useful for me. Take my shoulder shrug out.
And you know what? I just want you to pinpoint. I just want to, even though you said it already, but I want you to pinpoint it one more time for the masses. Because you know what? The truth is, I'm sitting here thinking about, I try to go around and find like posing, and I actually went into a posing session where someone was teaching their girls to reset for the exact reason that you're saying they shouldn't. She's literally teaching them to reset so they can get that attention. I was like, oh, this is something new. And of course, I brought it back to my coach to double check, like, should I be doing this?
Right.
But just say that one more time, because I think
yeah. So
no, don't do that.
So this pose here, and you're holding it, and every so often, that, and then you wait maybe another 45 seconds. That's okay, but this here, that's too much. It's a distraction because we know that you're trying to get our attention and we see you. But if you keep on moving, how can we even see the glute if you keep on that?
And this is us talking about when the girls are off to the side, waiting,
off
right?
to the side or in the lineup.
Or in the lineup, okay.
Either one. Yeah, just to space out your reset, I should say.
Okay.
Like, wait a little bit longer. Yeah. A good rule of thumb is if they're switching two girls, that's your opportunity for you to reset. Because it doesn't look so busy because, they're switching somebody else. So that's a good rule of thumb to do that. Or when you do it slower. And then hold it. And then do it. And then you want the good picture. So if you're moving too much, we can't even snap long enough if you keep on moving. So yes, it's definitely a distraction. They brought that up too. Yeah. So be mindful of how much reset and you do. Ration out your reset.
Yeah, that's important, because when I watch my videos back from nationals, I didn't even know the whole distraction. I mean, not distraction, but the attention thing. I just know that my conditioning wasn't on point by the time we got to like the overall. I was tired and I was ready to eat. I'm not gonna lie. I told the story a million times. I was not thinking about the overall at all. I'm like, all right, please call whoever y'all gonna call so we can go eat. Like, it's late. But when I look at my videos, I'm so shifty. I don't remember being shifty, but I was just so shifty. And I'm like dead center shifty. And I'm just like, here, I'm looking down, trying to keep my stomach in, like, and just minimally shifty. I'm not necessarily like doing that, but like that reminded me that posing conditioning is a big deal.
Y'all, that's a long pose. That's a hard pose to hold, just because you're thinking, then you see a judge look at you, so they're looking at you over to the side. Sometimes you're thinking like, God, I wish I was just invisible so they can just look at, so I can move. But then sometimes it's to your advantage. Let's bring 22 over here, so you got to always be on point. It's like they think you just woke up like that. They're probably thinking, why is she moving? I mean, she's just standing there for 10 minutes. What's the big... Yeah, it is a big deal to try to hold that pose. I know. I get it. Yeah.
All right.
All good points.
Yes.
Okay, so Steph, you have anything else you want to ask?
I think she answered the majority of the questions.
Yeah. How about you, Brandi?
Y'all know I can ask questions all day.
Oh, girl.
But no, I think we covered a really good bit of information, not only from your competitive journey, but just your journey to the other side and how you see things now. All very insightful. Very, very insightful. Like, I'm excited to listen to this again. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm intrigued on how it's gonna look when it comes out. Was I too fidgety? Did I pick my nose? Was I playing with my hair?
Oh my goodness.
No, you are fine. You are fine.
Actually, I do believe you have an organization for lupus, or you are.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would love for you to share that information before we, miss it.
Yes. It's called Sheila's Way, and it's a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. I provide financial assistance to lupus survivors. And we have a gala once a year. It's in Dallas, and it's usually May because May is Lupus Awareness Month. Okay. So so every year, and every year we honor like people who are great in the community. Like we're honoring Coach Sydney Carter, and she's like a great asset. We've honored a couple of athletes that I thought that do great for just for in the community. So we honor like Lupus warriors. So we try to pick. We have auctions there. So Park Place Porsche auctions off of Porsche like for the weekend. We have paintings. We auction off Airbnbs, and all this goes to this organization that helps me to provide like Uber services or medical people. Not everybody qualifies for disability, so I try to help them the best I can with the medical bills and copay. So it goes into that. So I got diagnosed in 2013, and I've been fortunate to be pretty healthy. So there are a lot of my colleagues that are not. So I try to provide whatever kind of blessing that I possibly can. So it is called Sheila's Way, and my website. What is my website? Sheila Way, because it should be Sheila's Way, but I forgot the S. So it's. I'm like, what was I thinking? So it's SheilaWay.org. Okay. I gotta change that because that didn't even sound right coming out of my mouth. But yeah. So
we will link that in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, Brandi is on it. She'll link everything, and even when you decide to update it, if that's what you really want to do.
Yes, I will. Yes, I need to update that quickly. Yes, but so that's my baby. So this would be our 7th year. I started the same time I started the Battle of Texas, actually.
Oh wow! Okay.
So yeah.
Wait, we're in March. April, May.
About to be in April.
That's coming up.
May 21st.
Wait, we're okay. So maybe you
May
can, come on. Like, I'm just trying to figure out like how we can, help in a way or put our little touch in there. So maybe on live
talk about that.
And sharing
and talk
that.
about the brunch. Yes, I'd love to.
Yeah,
that would be brunch. Okay, you have me at brunch. So how do we actually get to this gala, or is it invite only? Because you said brunch. And
no, it's we sell tickets. It's gonna be at the Fight Museum, and we have a comedian. So people come in. I have an Eventbrite link where they can either have a booth there. They can be a vendor, or they can be a participant, and they can just buy a ticket. And we have vendors as well, so you can shop there. We have a couple of vendors from the fitness industry that come and support us as well. Yeah, and it's a dress-up event. We have a comedy, we have dance, we have food. It's a whole vibe. Last year we had it at Lone Star Park, and it was during Derby weekend, so it was a Derby style. So we had the hats, and we bet on the horses because it was right at the horse race. So so we have vendors. We have a theme every year. Yes.
Wait. You're already taking me all the way back to Bridgerton.
Right? Right?
Yes. Let's talk about Queen Charlotte. We got to do a watch party for that, y'all. I got to wait till May the 4th.
I know,
But
right?
isn't the next Bridgerton coming out soon? The next Bridgerton should be out in March. Because I heard it's going to be Penelope and Cole. I
think it is Penelope's story, but I don't remember when it's supposed to drop.
It's coming soon. I can't remember the date. And I just sent you that too. I can't remember.
Yes, you did. We need to do a watch party for Queen Charlotte, though. Girl, Sonda knows how to make a movie.
We will. I'm going to set it up.
Yes.
That I can do. But
that you can do, yes.
In light of you talking about Derby style, I'm like, I always wanted to dress up and do one of those. I'm like, man,
you should see them. I've never seen so many men dress up like it was Easter Sunday. They had their hats, the women had their hats. It was like, and they actually went out and bet on the horses and did the little, when you hit the little horse poop or whatever the
poop. You mean okay?
Is it poop? No, what is it, Stephanie? What is it? When they
Are you talking about the game? The game with the
yeah, what is that?
The ball
no, not croquet. But it's not croquet.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about, but no, they take a golf club and they hit the and they hit the paddy we call it the patty, and they.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
New to me. I'm sorry.
Right.
I haven't
I
gone
probably
yet.
know if I hear it, but yeah, I
I'm gonna
can't
look
think
it
of the
up
name of
But
after this. Me
you look
too.
it up and correct me, and if I'm wrong, just edit this part out.
it.
Oh, it's the real raw real. It's all going in.
Bigger than all.
Oh my
Bigger than
gosh.
all.
Okay, y'all close your ears because I might be wrong, so don't listen to what I'm saying. But I think I saw it at Pretty Woman. They don't do it at my place because it's not that kind of, it's a horse track and that's it. It's a horse race thing. But it will remind you of Bridgerton with the gloves and the hats. Yes. And I'm not a hat person, so I wasn't really into it, but I had to do it because it was my event. But I am not a Easter person. Like I couldn't fight because I have all this hair, and so my hats could not fit. Or I had to get the fascinator, that just a half hat, because the whole hat I can put over all this crochet weave. It wasn't getting done.
Hats actually never fit my head, so.
Mine either, actually.
Yeah, they never fit.
Oh yeah, for sure, you, Stephanie. I know they wouldn't fit your head. Yeah, and it's hard trying to be cute with a whole bunch of hair.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to play. Like, no, I don't want to do the hat thing, but you. And then by the time the night was over, the hat is gone.
Right.
Yeah. So May 21st,
do you guys have your theme and everything set for this year's event?
We don't because, well, it's going to be at the Flight Museum. So I don't know if it's going to be a theme there because it's nothing goes on at the Flight Museum like that. I got to think about that if it is.
Aviators,
well,
bodysuits, bomber jackets.
Oh, yeah. Shut up.
Hold
on. We're gonna bring you back.
Yes, you're right. Like the Tom Cruise. What was that? What did you do?
Top Gun.
Yes.
Top Gun. Yo, I gotta tell Tina, she's my co-promoter. That's a good idea.
Yes. So when we bring you back around ending of, actually you said May. Did you say a date?
May 21st.
May 21st.
May 21st.
Yeah.
So we're gonna figure out when we're gonna bring you back, but we're gonna have
yes. Let's do that. I like that. Thank you for that idea.
No problem.
That's a good idea.
I get one every once a year, maybe.
Just once a year, you get one. Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome.
All right. So cool. Sheila, is there anything else that you would like to share with everybody before we dive into our last few questions?
Have a well-rounded life. Don't make this competition life, just a all that's all that you think about. Take care of your family. Remember, they didn't ask for this. Take care of your kids. They didn't ask for it. So, it can be a great part of your journey, but still enjoy the rest of the journey of life, not just competitive. And then, you don't have to always go pro. There's so many things you can utilize as being part of NPC. You can be an expediter. You can be a judge. You can help, backstage. You can help with workshops. So many different facets that you can be a part of with that. So, stay well-rounded, stay healthy. Your health is first and foremost, so just keep that in mind. That's it.
That was actually one of the things you said earlier, and I made sure I wrote it down because just in case you didn't say it, I wanted to remind people that, just in case you didn't repeat it here, I wanted to remind people that you said that earlier because that's very important. It's very beautiful. So that was really cool to hear you say it again.
Because it's a very vain industry. It's a very vain and it's perceived as vain, but we're judged on our looks. So of course we're always in the mirror because we are judged on how we look. So, but it could be all you think about is, let your body go sometimes. You can't be in competition shape all the time because it's not healthy. So give yourself some breathing room and then hang out and then travel, then come back to this. But we are always misconceived, as you know, we're all about ourselves. And it's not that. It's just that we are judged on literally our looks. So, you know, keep that in mind, that even though you're judged on your looks, when that part is over, then, you know, find another journey and then do another, and make it well-rounded so you're not all stuck on your looks. You know, so I had to find something else to do so that all I would care about is how my glutes look and how my hamstrings. So that's why I started, you know, like taking cooking classes, or, you know, get into, you know, yoga or Pilates. So you won't be all about how you look, because it's not always about that. But the industry, I mean, unfortunately, that it is like that. But make it not about that.
Cooking classes, y'all.
Right. I was like, you know what? That's actually a good idea.
Let's set that up.
Yeah. I mean, not me, and you know, I eat, but I won't cook. I'll have a Ben and Jerry's. Like when I leave here, I'm very well rounded. I was all well rounded this whole weekend. You know, shrimp cocktails and margaritas and peanut butter whiskey and ice cream again. So yes, but when I was competing, that's all I cared about, is how I looked. You know, and it's not always about that. It's easy to get caught up in that.
Yeah.
That's
good advice.
Thank you for that. All right. So, me, because you always phrase that competitor and compete question the best. So I gotta leave that question for you.
You wanna go for it, Steph?
I can't even remember how you worded the
Okay.
question either.
Brandi, you just have a rhythm. You just have a rhythm to it. You just got to take it.
Fair enough. Okay, so we have our final round of questions that we ask to every guest that we have. I guess our fire round, if you will. And the first question is, when you were competing, did you come to a point where you had to decide if you wanted to compete or be competitive? And what did you choose and why?
I decided that I wanted to compete and not be competitive. Because for me, being competitive, for me, it took the fun out of it. But if I'm just competing, then the pressure is off. I'm still want to look good, but I don't have to be so competitive that it takes the joy out of it. So I chose to compete.
Okay.
Wow. That was definitely a different perspective. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. That was a good question. That was a good question.
Yeah. So, what was the realest or rawest moment or emotion you experienced during your competitive journey?
The realest moment is when I got my pro card. I cried, snot was coming out of my nose. It was because it was so long. It took me so long to get it. You know, it was just like, it was the best feeling in the world, knowing that all this hard work finally paid off. You know, so that, you know, and everybody has like a different feel, because maybe somebody's moment is when they did not win, because you know, some people just first place, boom, first place, boom, first place, and then when they don't get that first place, there's probably a mind-blowing moment for them. But mine was when I got that, you know, because I just got first place locally, but nothing national. I was at nationals every year, 3 and 4 nationals a year. So to finally get that pro card, that was pinnacle for me.
Nice.
And our final question, which I feel like you just literally answered, like,
I think she did.
Yeah. So I mean, I can just repeat it, you know, and you can agree, but the realest piece of advice that you could give to any competitors that are just starting out, or competitors that have been in the game for a while. And would you say that you just gave that advice? Because then I'll just repeat. But if you want to share something different, you can as well.
Share something else. Yeah, I mean, support is everything. You know, make sure you have a good support system. And sometimes support system might not be your family. It could be just a group of people that you met backstage. And, you know, be careful of comparing yourself to others. Just compare yourself to you, because you compare yourself to one person and this girl might sneak up and kick both y'all's butt. So you zone in on one particular person that you're going to beat. There's about 10 more of them right around the corner. So get your support system. Try not to compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to you. You know, enjoy the journey. Don't be such in a rush to get that pro card that you miss all the highlights of being an amateur. Because once you get that pro card, you got to start over from scratch. It's like starting. Yeah, it's a very humbling experience to be on the pro stage, and you could possibly be a last call out again, because now you're up against these people that you've admired. But also remember, you belong up there with just like that with everybody else. So sometimes that kind of messes with your head, like, oh my gosh, I'm up here with, Franciella or Jennifer. But you deserve to be up there with everybody else. You earn that pro card just like everybody else earned that pro card, and you can easily be the person to beat. So keep that in mind. Enjoy the journey. Don't be in a rush. Get your support system. Stay grounded. Stay grounded. Stay humble.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that, Miss
Dropped
Sheila.
so many bars today, Miss Sheila. I cannot wait to go back and listen to this, just to really be on the outside listening in. Like, you have given so much information. Like, we can call it a season at this point. But I'm joking.
Thank you. I'm glad.
So we definitely appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
And where can people find out about you, about the shows that you're promoting? You already told us about your organization and your event and things like that. But how can we keep up with you and your shows?
They can always follow me, Flexi Brown. That's FLEXXY Brown. And I do answer my DMs, because that's where I get the majority of my clients from. So I know some people don't answer DMs, but I do. They can find me on Facebook under Sheila spelled correctly, which everybody knows when it spells it correctly, but it's SHEILAHE. That's Sheila on Facebook. Okay. But yeah, and then you can go to my profile on Flexi Brown and see Battle of Productions, which is my show page.
Okay.
So if y'all not doing anything, August 18th and 19th, come to the Texas Pro NBC Texas Classic. Come to the Battle of Texas in December, a week before the Nationals. It's a perfect warm up for that. Yeah. Find a show that you can pick that will pay your way to the Nationals. Because I know a lot of promoters. We had a meeting yesterday. A lot of promoters around the world are doing that. You win overall, will pay for your entry at the NBC Nationals in Dallas. So, be selective with picking your show.
Another gem. Let me go reassess what I'm doing.
Pointing at y'all. Hey, y'all need to reconfigure your schedule. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Miss Sheila, for indulging us.
You're welcome.
And coming on to our show. We are building this baby from the ground up. So to have
so excited for y'all. This is like a amazing idea. Just keeping it real and like no holds barred, just like raw. And people want to hear raw. They don't want to hear like the political version. They want to hear like keep it real. So I think this is great what y'all are doing, and some queens doing it too. It's amazing. So congratulations to all of you in your career as well. In your career, wish you the best, Stephanie, in getting that pro card. U-Landa in getting that pro card, and Brandi qualifying for the Olympia. Yeah, just speak into existence.
Absolutely. Well, we will put all of your information in the show notes so that people can find you, they can support you, or they can show up at your show. And with that, we will call it a night here, and we'll see you on the next episode. Oh, wait. Sorry. where can they find you, Yolanda, and you, Stephanie? I'm sorry.
Oh, so you can find me on Instagram, fitwithyou, fit.with.u. Sorry, I made it so difficult.
And you can find me also on Instagram at GTGTGYAL_6.
All right, awesome. You can find me also on Instagram where I'm most active. That is b.shane, SHANE_IFBB Pro. And you can keep up with all of the things that we have going on at The Real Raw Real on Instagram at The Real Raw Real. Especially now that we have started our Fangirl Fridays. So be sure to tune in every Friday. We're going live on Instagram to reveal who we are fangirling, and it might be you. So make sure you come join us, listen in. If you like this episode of the podcast and you want to continue to follow our journey, please subscribe, follow, like, share. If you're on YouTube, we're on YouTube now too. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you can always be updated on when we are putting our next episode out. And now
I am terrible, so there is no underscore in my IG name. That goes to show how much I pay attention.
Wow.
All good. We'll put the correct handle in the show notes.
Hey y'all, on YouTube it's REAL, then RAW, then REEL.
Yes, ma'am.
Or okay. Because I'm following you, I'm subscribing now to you on Real Raw Real. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Say it again on YouTube. Repeat that. Your YouTube channel.
REAL. REAL.
Oh, real is still the same. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Real Raw Real.
Yes.
So, okay. Got it. Okay.
Awesome. Brandi, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
We can't hear you. You sound cut out.
You want to mute? Nope.
He's probably on mute.
Now you're on mute.
All right, so we'll call this one a wrap. Thank you all for joining us at The Real Raw Real today as we interviewed Miss Sheila. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode, and until next time, bye.
Thank y'all so much for having me.